can't stop the sunshine.
Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com and I'm here with a Cancer February 2022 horoscope. Thanks for joining me. There's a few things happening this month. Firstly, and very importantly, Mercury is turning direct on the 3rd. And so, you know, things will ease slowly and smoothly. So there's a little thing called a shadow period. It's probably about a week, 7 days roughly. Could be 5, could be 10, but that's when the energy is changing. So it's changing, it's in transition from the retrograde into the direct, but it's actually turning direct on the 3rd. So it's still, if you have important documents to sign, if you could put it off a few days, that might be a good idea. Otherwise, you may have to go back and revisit because something changes, okay? Secondly, the other thing is in January, in certain countries, there was a black moon. So a black moon is a new moon. Because January has 31 days, it's a longer month. February only has 28 days, it's a shorter month. So some countries will not have a new moon in February, or some places, I should say. So if you're west of Lafayette in Indiana, in the US, you're one of those, you fall into that group that won't have a new moon in February because you had it on the 31st of January. Okay, so, you know, a bit of an interesting month this month. All right, just briefly, I'll just explain what I do. I like to draw 2 tarot cards. I have a look at your horoscope in depth, and I do a psychic channeling at the end, so do stick around for that. Let's go to the board now and see what these cards have to say. If you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Here's your horoscope. We'll come to that in a moment. But firstly, let's have a look at the cards. Okay, so you can think of the first card as the first half of the month if you like, and the second card as the second half of the month. Let's go with that one there for Cancer in February. Closing my eyes. Okay, I've got the colour green, but it's more aqua. There's a fair bit of blue in this. So green is always about growth and opportunity, and it comes through self-expression because the blue is like the blue of the throat chakra. So you could be expressing yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean verbally, might be in writing or through art or some other way, but growth comes through self-expression this month. The card that comes up is the 10 of Pentacles. You'll see the blue here. And this is yellow from the solar plexus. So this is from goal-oriented behavior. It's not like you win the lottery, although you could, but it's more that you're working, or you've been, when I say working, you've been moving towards a certain course of action, but you could be working as well. Okay, this is great for your finances, and sometimes it indicates there's money through real estate. So it could be through investments or buying or selling a home. Maybe you've been working on a home for a long time and now you're making the decision that it's time to downsize, perhaps. That's just one example. But it is good for your money generally. You could get a lump sum of money, perhaps you've been doing a project and you're almost at the completion of that project. There's celebrations around it. It's reward for the work that you've done. Okay, so it's a 10, so that's indicating it's the end of that cycle, but a new cycle will begin soon because of 1 and 0. 1 is always new beginnings. 0 is the time of waiting, you know, like while you're getting ready. Okay, let's look at the second half of the month now for you Cancerians and see what comes up. All right, closing my eyes now. What do I see for February 2022 for Cancerians? I'm feeling all of that emotion, a lot of emotion coming up. Today's actually the 14th of January, and I feel like this emotion is relating to like from now on, the 14th into February. It's not a bad thing because emotions are like fuel, and they're going to fuel you onto another creative project, or, you know, getting something instigated, something up and running. The card that comes up is the Nine of Pentacles. So this is interesting because it's looking like it's a money month in some way. We do have a lot happening here with your joint resources, the finances and possessions and the things that you share with another person or an organisation or maybe an agency or government of some description. But I'll come to that in a moment. Okay, so the 9, it's like we're coming to the end, and with this shade of blue here, again, is self-expression, but there's also some intuition with it. The 9 is coming to the end of the cycle. It's all about creativity. You'll see here she's got gold, glitter and sparkles. So it's like gone to a very high level of spiritual creativity here. And actually it feels like, while I'm saying that, it reminds me of birth and fertilization and pregnancy, but perhaps not an actual physical baby. So you might be thinking about going out on your own, starting a new business or starting a new sort of sideline. Maybe you want to start reading, tarot reading or something like that. Okay, so that's very favorable as well. Okay, so there are your 2 cards. Bear those in mind. I'm just going to make this bigger for you so you can see better. Okay, and we'll put that one there and this one around here. Perhaps, sorry, that's Jupiter barking in the background. He always barks when I do live streams. I don't know how that works, but he does. Now, the first thing you'll notice here, looking at your chart, is all of the planets except for the moon here, but they're above the horizon line. So they're up here. So this is what's called a public chart. This is about you going out into the world more, getting your message out into the world. Do be careful online that you don't overshare, because with so much going on out in the public sphere, sometimes there's a tendency for oversharing. Mercury retrograde turns direct on the 3rd of February, and it's in your 7th house of important relationships, partnerships, marriages, legalities, and also open enemies. Open enemies is just someone you don't get on with, you don't have a good relationship with. And basically with Mercury there retrograde, there's a fair bit of energy for miscommunication. So, but with that turning direct, that will probably sort itself out this month, February, okay, with probably after the 10th or so. Then I've just written this down here twice because it sort of got lost in there. Mars conjuncture at descendant. Here it is at 6 degrees and 6 minutes. This is all about relationships. So that you've got a fair bit of energy this month for your important relationships, and there's a bit of a push forward. Just be careful with Mars, because sometimes it's a little bit over forceful, and it's because you've got the energy, but other people don't have that high degree of energy, so they might misinterpret what you're trying to say, or you might come on too strong in some way. The new moon I mentioned before, it's in your 9th house if you get a new moon. If you're west of Lafayette, Indiana, you don't get a new moon, but you had it on the 31st of January. So you know the moon spends probably 2.5 to 3 days in each sort of phase. So when it's new for that amount of time. So even though we say that the new moon would be on the 1st or on the 31st, it spends a little bit longer. So this is all about your broadening your life, opportunities, study, and maybe you're thinking about going on a mini vacation, or perhaps you want to get away from your life in some way. And it'd be really good if you can manage to do that. If you are travelling, be careful of Mercury retrograde there, because it mucks up travel plans sometimes. It is time to put your life into perspective, basically. But this is about expanding your horizons. The other thing, okay, moving on to your horoscope in depth, from the 30th of January to the 8th of February, Mercury conjuncts Mercury, and you're more likely to be alert, mentally sharp and clear and comprehend new concepts more easily. So normally you'd be able to verbalise and articulate these new ideas very well. It's a bit dicey with, up until the 3rd with Mercury retrograde. It gives you a high degree of curiosity and, intellectually you want to understand what's going on with a certain circumstance. It's a great time to make plans and strategies or begin a course of study. Then we have the 4th of February to the 7th of February. Mars squares Chiron. With Mars, all that energy coming up, it's important to keep control of any anger or resentment that you may be feeling. There could be some sort of intense feelings deep down in your subconscious, and anything could set it off. It's a bit like a volcano. So write out your feelings into a journal rather than exploding at other people if you can help it. It always helps to write things out first, okay? Make an effort to heal past wounds. If you feel upset or you're angry about something, this is an indicator. There's probably something to be angry about. But what you do with that anger and how you express that anger is the thing, okay? 7th of February to the 10th of February, Mars conjuncts Venus, and this is beautiful. It brings up a lot of romantic passion and strong sexual feelings, and you might be compelled to be with a certain person. If you're not currently in a relationship, you might decide now you've had enough of being single and you want to go out and find somebody. Just, be careful who you find, basically. Artistic and creative expression is also favoured now. The 7th of February to the 10th of February, Mars sextiles your MC. This is great for getting stuff done. You have more energy and more vitality, perhaps, and a clear objective in mind. You want to advance your own goals. And, maybe there's some new projects that you want to start. You could be called upon to act as a leader in some way. Other people, especially those in authority, can respond very favourably to your suggestions now. And you might have this sort of ability to tackle a problem or take a risk in a new way. So there's a fair bit of originality with that. 9th of February to the 12th of February, Mercury conjuncts Pluto, and this gives you the ability to really go to the core of an issue. It's like you probe until you get right to the heart of the matter. Mysteries, unsolved riddles and topics that people normally avoid or sweep under the carpet are likely to occupy your thoughts now. Just watch when you're speaking that you're not overly insistent or even fanatical about your point of view, because you'll either really convince people and they'll come to your side, or they'll be repelled. It's like there's no middle ground here. 13th of February to the 9th of March, Mercury in your 8th house. Okay, so it's moving from here into here. This is all about joint resources and intimacy, and there could be much communication and negotiation going on about investments, property, or anything else you own with another person. Remember this card here about the property that came out. It's a good time to get all your business affairs and legal affairs in order. There could be some discussions about death and the legalities. So it could be things like inheritances and wills, and also the sort of personal aspects that go with that as well. 12th of February to the 20th of February, Jupiter sextiles Uranus. This is fabulous because it's very optimistic and positive. You're likely to feel more upbeat and progressive. There's probably some get-togethers and parties and other people that you associate with in business. You might have a get-together with them, even if it's only on Zoom or Skype. Contracts and agreements that you sign now will probably end up being very fortunate and successful for you. And there could be some progressive changes that you make as a result of these agreements. Those people that, like the status quo, they're probably not going to be happy because you're going to change something. There could be some sort of social change movement that you get involved with, and with that there'll be little resistance and likely to be considerable interest from the public. On the 16th of February, the full moon moves into the third house here. And so this is all about communications and new ideas, but your emotions are likely to come into it, and that's okay, because that can actually oil the wheels of relationships, and so you have some sort of emotional rapport with other people. However, also it means that events from the past and situations with other people that were perhaps, unfortunate in some way, they might come up from your subconscious. So just remember that whatever decisions you're making, you're looking at it from the lens of the past during this time, particularly around the full moon. And, there's some feelings and subjective assessments there. 13th of February to the 22nd of February, Jupiter sextiles Venus. It's an excellent time for personal relationships and friendships. You're more able to share your feelings and concerns openly and honestly with other people, and you're more likely to be more honest or candid than you normally are. So things just come out of your mouth perhaps, but it's the truth and it probably needs to be said. It is an excellent time to, if you don't get on with somebody, it's an excellent time to sort of heal broken relationships, or you can try. Some things are irretrievable, of course. But very favourable, optimistic, and lucky too. If you need a degree of luck, this is the time you might get it. So you'll find that people have a greater appreciation of you, and there's more love and respect, affection generally. And business dealings and professional associations are also likely to be quite successful. Any contracts you sign are likely to work out very well for all concerned. 17th of February to the 20th of March, Sun moves into your 9th house here. This is the house of the higher mind, and it's time to lift yourself out of your, normal everyday life and get a larger perspective on life. There's a whole great big wide world out there. You're likely to look for new vistas, broaden your horizons in some way, maybe travelling, studying, or reading about foreign cultures, or seeking out people who have greater experience and insight than you. A teacher or a mentor or a coach or a good psychic can help now. 14th of February to the 23rd of February, Jupiter conjuncture MC brings a fortunate circumstance with regard to your general direction in life, or perhaps your career. It's more like your vocation, something that makes your heart sing. You could receive a promotion, a job offer, a large contract, could be more money, but it's like there was a limiting, restrictive situation, and now you can step out of that finally. And it's not like it's going to fall into your lap. You've got to work towards it, of course, and it's a great time to investigate new avenues for growth regarding a career or vocation. Look at, what really sort of brush up on your interview techniques and things like that, your resume, make sure your resume is up to date, and it's, there's sort of like fads in resumes that, things that were acceptable in resumes 5 years ago are not so now, so you might need to brush up on that, for example. Something, it's really, this is very beneficial. The worst thing that can happen though is that you're perhaps a bit overconfident or overly optimistic about something. You might think that you have more time than you do, for example, and take on too much. So don't exaggerate the possibilities, but there are favourable new opportunities at this time. 21st of February to the 24th, Venus sextiles Neptune. Again, a beautiful influence where you're receptive to beauty. You want to be surrounded by harmony and kindness, and you feel gentle and tender towards other people. and perhaps you can help them in some way, and this will make you very happy, and they will help you too. 25th of February to the 28th, Mars conjuncts Mercury. Just watch this, because it's not the best time to be tactful or cautious, because you could be very straightforward. As I was saying before, with Mars, you've got this sort of big, forceful energy, and you have to maybe govern it down a little bit. Be careful what you say, because you're likely to say exactly what you think without thinking about the ramifications of what you're thinking. So yeah, just make sure that your brain is in gear before you speak here. 28th of February to the 2nd of March, Sun sextiles Uranus. It's time to change your routine, improvise, use your intuition more than usual. It's not the best time to be thinking logically and practically now. The tempo of your life accelerates, which means you may lose track of time very easily. So it could be an inconsistent, unpredictable, but interesting time now. And 28th of February to the 2nd of March, again, Sun sextiles Venus. And this brings a lot of affection and love into your life. There's likely to be friends supporting you, or somebody's going to try and help you in some way. You may benefit socially or materially. Maybe there's some opportunity offered to you by a friend. It's a great time for parties, social gatherings, and having a fun time. 28th of February to the 2nd of March, Sun conjuncture MC. So this is about your vocation and your reputation and the goals, you know, your general life direction and the goals that you have. This could be some sort of boost now, and you get an uplift in some way. There's a surge of positive energy. People in authority notice you and want to help you. And if you've got a plan or a goal, they can help you with that. Perhaps there's some sort of public recognition for your work or your unique personal contribution to the world. 28th of February to the 3rd of March, Mars conjuncts Pluto. Okay, so Pluto is very deep and compelling, and you could feel compelled to get rid of something now, cut something out of your life. You want to be done with something. You undertake major revisions and an overhaul in some area of your life. You could be quite forceful, and so you need to watch you don't drive yourself too hard or overtax yourself physically. Even though you might have the best of intentions, because of this sort of compulsive energy, you could work furiously towards a goal and not even know why you're doing it. And, you know, I'm a bit like that with gardening sometimes. So, you know, sometimes you just want to get something done and you just work towards that goal without thinking, you know. And the problem there is accidents can happen because you're really not present in your body. You're working towards something in the future instead of being present in the here and now. So you need to sort of try and stay grounded and not float off into the future too much. Do watch for power struggles with other people too at this time. 24th of February to the 1st of April, Chiron squares Venus. Okay, so this is a bit delicate because it's like you reach a turning point in a relationship with someone. Chiron is about the wounded healer. This is somebody who has hurts from the past. And even though they may be healed, it's a bit like a scar, you know. Sometimes when the weather's not right, the scar acts up and it could be a bit painful. And, you know, if there is a relationship with someone or perhaps a job that you're in, you might find that the goals of that position or that relationship, you're not on the same page anymore as that person. So you have to make a decision, like a decision coming up about, you know, are you going to keep on with this, or are you just going to sort of cut it and be done? And this was a 9 of Pentacles, and this is a 10 of Pentacles. These are indicating that it's the end of a cycle. Can you hear the kookaburras out there? They're laughing. So I don't know what's so funny about ending a cycle, but there's something definitely coming up where you have to make a decision whether to cut it loose from your life, or to continue and maybe try and change it in some way. It's your decision, and because Chiron's involved, it could be some pain, and the pain mightn't even be about now. The pain might be from the past, and you're remembering the pain of the past, perhaps. And the other thing with this too is it's time when you need to spend more time on your own. It's not really the time for socializing, and so have some time out. Spend time without distraction, without your devices, for example. So it works out beneficial in the long run, especially with creative projects and financial affairs. Works out much better, but you need the time on your own. So this is like coming to the end of something, so something new can begin. Alrighty, so that's your horoscope. I'll just close my eyes and see what I can see for you, caring Cancerians. For February 2022, there's the kookaburras there. They're flying off. They're flying up the mountain now. Okay, so caring Cancerians, February 2022, what do I see? Okay, so there's this big tall doors in front of me. This is a bit unlike what I've seen before because these are very, very tall doors. So the decisions you make now, they have far-reaching implications or consequences, and perhaps you can't even see what the consequences are because it's like these doors are so tall you can't see how far they go. And it's like you're in the dark about it, but now I'm seeing pearls around a woman's neck. So pearls are always words of wisdom. Go cautiously and go slowly about the decisions you make. It's not like you have to make them in 5 minutes, okay? There's also a big medallion here, some sort of spiritual honor or accolade or reward where spirit is recognizing you for the hard decisions that you've had to make in your life. It's not just about now. Sometimes it's to do with something in the past and you might have dealt with it, but it still keeps coming back and you just say, I want to be done with that once and for all, and I'm not going to allow those people to live in my head anymore rent-free. So do a little ritual and imagining that you're cutting the cords. Imagine that you're letting them go. Wish them well. Even if you really don't feel like forgiving them, practice. Say to Spirit, I am willing to forgive you, even though I find it difficult. And I was the aggrieved party. I was the one that was hurt here because you did whatever it was. I'm now forgiving you and moving forward. Do it to the best of your ability and really feel your feelings around it and just say, I am willing to do it. Because I know it's hard to do if you've been wronged. It's hard just to let go of that. But the thing is, it's hurting you if you don't do it. Like I said, they're living in your head rent-free and taking up your energy. And that energy is like trapped down in your body. So, and believe me, as we get older, we need all the energy we can get that's accessible. We need to be able to access the energy. So if you have a lot of things that are sort of down in your body, trapped at a cellular level, that will, make you feel very tired, for example. That's just one manifestation. Okay, now there's a ring. It's a very plain silver ring. So the feminine side, but it's a completion of a cycle. Again, there's that theme of ending a cycle so that a new beginning can start for you. Okay, so that's it, caring Cancerians. Thank you so much for listening. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Wishing you a wonderful month with many blessings. Okay, see you again soon, and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.